August 10th, 2025. It's a Sunday. I'm in Norwich, Connecticut, in the Norwich town section, and I'm doing another experiment. With my camera. I am shooting in, the other day I did something in super wide. It's the widest angle that the camera can shoot video in, but it can't do it in 4K super high resolution. It does it in 2.7K, which is still very high resolution, but not 4K, which is my preferred medium. It probably doesn't really matter that much to most people, but for long-term archiving and things like that, just me personally, I prefer 4K. So today is wide. I am shooting in 4K, but it's not super wide, it's just wide. I have three choices: super wide, wide, or linear. There's another choice that no one would ever, that I wouldn't use. It's more of a, almost not a macro, but it zooms in a little bit, but that's completely irrelevant. I would never, it has nothing to do with these driving videos. So this is wide. Linear, the lines to the left and right, like telephone poles and things, are straight. Everything looks the way it would to the naked eye. But you do lose some width, but that's my preferred method. It's roughly 20 millimeters wide, which I wish it was a little wider, but it isn't, so there's not much I can do about it. So this is, at least with the camera I have, this is, I believe, 16 millimeters wide, according to what my research or whatever. But you will get some bending and warpage on, like this telephone pole going right by these, to the right of me. I would assume they're, warped, curved. A lot of people don't care about that. I kind of do, personally, but that's me. I'm just letting this person go. I'm giving him the go there. So I'm going to go straight. I'm just going to drive around. This is test. I've been doing a lot of testing lately. So this is testing wide, not super wide, just plain wide. I think super wide is like 14 millimeters, some off the charts, super all-encompassing. And a lot of people liked it, and some people did not like it at all. So it's an acquired taste. I don't know if it's an acquired taste. You either love it or you don't. So I don't think you'll ever adapt to it. If you don't like super wide, you may never like it. I'll just cruise up. I'm on East Town Street or Town Street. Okay, let's see. This is I believe the name of this road is Huntington Lane. The house to the left, George Washington, was in that home. I talked to the previous owners. They have documentation, and George Washington, I don't believe as president. Well, I don't believe he was president at the time, let's put it that way. But there's a lot of colonial homes and things in here. As I cruise around testing the wide setting at 4K 60 frames per second on this camera. Another thing that is a potential problem is overheating, because I'm using the whole sensor as opposed to a slight crop with the linear mode. This is going to be a lot of technical talk today. But if I'm using a linear mode, it doesn't use the whole sensor. There is a crop into the sensor, so it's less likely to overheat. Let's put it that way. But I have all the elements in my favor as far as external cooling on the camera. Yeah, it's hot outside. It's 88, or it's definitely hot. but the camera, as the car moves, it cools and air actually gets inside the camera, which I like because I have the battery door removed and no battery. There's no tiny little internal battery that goes in it. I'm using an external battery as I drive up Ox Hill Road in Norwich. So that aspect, as far as the exterior cooling mechanism or situation that I have put this camera in right now, is as good as you're going to get on a hot day. But the internals could get so, molten hot that the camera will just shut down in this mode because the whole sensor's being activated. I'm going by Norwich Technical High School. I am on Mahan Drive in Norwich. I'm cruising around randomly. Wow, a lot of cars down here. Kelly Middle School is packed to the rafters. Obviously, something big time is going on. What that is, I have no idea. Let me see if there's a sign or something. I don't see anything, but see all those cars? Whatever it is, it's a big deal. Because this place, it's wall-to-wall cars down here. And I'm keeping an eye on that sensor. Let me turn up, take just a brief cruise through Mohegan Park. I'm not going to do, this is, as far as any concentrated coverage of certain parts of Norwich or whatever, that's not this video. This video is a test. If the camera doesn't shut down and the test, produces usable video, you're watching it right now. I uploaded it to YouTube and everything went well. As I cruise down, I'm on the, kind of the perimeter of Mohegan Park. To the left of me, if I walked straight through those woods, I'd probably hit Spalding Pond. This is Wilderness Road, and it's aptly named because, I feel like I'm in the middle of the wilderness, but there's a road going through it. And it's beautiful. It's no question. If you haven't been to Mohegan Park ever, man, you got to get down here. I'll just take a quick breeze through the parking lot. I'll just turn right around. Just to get different kind of scenarios for this wide. Again, you're seeing some fisheye or barrel. I don't know if it's barrel distortion. Whatever it is, there's some warpage. But again, I'm telling you about this, so I'm focusing your attention on it. If I didn't say anything, the average viewer might not notice or care. So straight ahead is the dam, that big green, there's grass on it going straight up. Beyond that, Spalding Pond. So that's Mohegan Park. That's as much of Mohegan Park as I'm gonna do. There's an entryway right there, Park Center. Hopefully, with the not super wide, the wide. Difference between super wide and wide is maybe 3 or 4 millimeters of focal length width. Some people use field of view, FOV. I tend to prefer to use millimeters because photography is my, I've been doing professional level photography work for many, many years. And I talk in millimeters of lenses and things like that. Thus, I will be using the term millimeters instead of field of view. And let me drive out of this Mohegan Park. We got a glance. Stop sign to the right. It could be warped or curved. A lot of people will say, I don't like that. A lot of other people will say, it doesn't bother me at all. In the perfect world, I would have like a 14 millimeter wide, non-distorting, non-fisheye effect lens at 4K 60 frames per second with no overheating. I'm using this camera in a very specific way. Let me see here. I don't know. I'll get down this way. I'm using it in a very, very, I wouldn't say it's one of a kind, but I would say very few people do what I do as far as the camera is concerned. Like, if people do driving videos like I'm doing, they almost never put it on the exterior of the car. They have it inside the car, but you get reflections from the windshield, and the windshield has to be perfectly clean, and there's all kind of, you see the hood, you see windshield wipers. Things are just not, to me, I don't want to go in that direction. Some of the first videos I ever made, I used a different camera inside the car, and I didn't know what I was doing, and whatever. But I've been doing this long enough now. I have it down to a certain, almost a science. Is this guy going through a stop sign, or like, what's the story here? I am on Mohegan Park Road right now. I think I'm heading towards Boswell Avenue. Looking out city. You know, I got the wide on there, so we got to test it out in the city, buildings and close, narrow passageways and things like that. All right, let's turn right onto Boswell Avenue. Now, you notice, you hear that clicking? That's me using my signal 100% of the time. Nobody behind me. I mean, it's a must. I can't encourage it enough. There's nothing to encourage. It's the law. It's kind of a pet peeve. There's so many people that don't use their signals that's, dangerous. I mean, I've seen it a million times. Wow, there's going to be an entrance over there potentially to the new Greenville school they're building off of Boswell. There was definitely one back there. I don't know if that's going to be operational when the school's done. I hope so. There'd be two ways in, Golden Street and Boswell Avenue. As I cruise down Boswell Avenue right now, wow, somebody's taking pictures of that house. There's two young ladies over there, so I assume that's going to be up for sale. Look like maybe a real estate agent or something photographing the home. I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know. I'm making an assumption, but it kind of looked that way. And again, it's blistering hot out here. It's probably 90. I mean, it's high 80s. Another scorcher. It's going to be hotter tomorrow. It's going to be hot this week, all week. So I definitely am keeping an eye on that camera of mine. Now, I'm not positive it's recording. Just because the LCD in the back is on does not mean that it's recording video. I once got home, I think I did an hour and a half, and I ended up with like 5 minutes of video. So what a waste. I mean, it's rare. That's back in the old days when I didn't know what I was doing. But this thing, I'm putting it out there. This thing is definitely in jeopardy of, no question, shutting down. All right, it's a no turn on red situation. And I'm going to go right, but Connecticut is right on red. Unless it says no turn on red, then obviously you can't turn on red. But this is this is an extremely unique situation that I'm operating this camera with. A lot of people would not be comfortable with it. They would say, well, there's no battery. There, you took the battery door off. The battery door comes right off. It's made to come off in certain circumstances. Maybe I'll take a left onto Lake Street. Let me take a look down here. Sometimes it's just a one-way street. Sometimes it's cars blocking, and it's tough to get down. No, nobody's blocking. So this is Lake Street on wide. Why am I doing it? Well, it's a very narrow street, and it's a good test of the wide aspect of this particular lens. This is going to be ultra tight, me getting through here. I think I can do it, but man, talk about testing this lens out. Oof. There's cars all over the place down here. There must be some kind of a party, or I don't know. It's one way, so I don't have to worry about oncoming traffic. There's a really nice playground to my left. What is this street? All right, this is one way too. I think this might bring me down to Franklin. So we're off Lake Street, heading to, this is Pond Street. Another tight, so this is good video testing grounds for wide. Yeah, that brings Delia's Bakery's right in front of me. And there's another tricky spot to get out of. Keep your fingers crossed. Whoa. That's tough. They were doing a lot of road work, and I don't know what the deal is, but it looks like I can drive through this. Here, yesterday or the other few days ago, they were digging up. It was a multi-day project, so I'm not sure exactly what it was, but whatever it was kind of a big deal. All right, I'll go straight to the roundabout. My camera is, the LCD is still on. That's a good sign. But again, I fully expect it to shut down at some point. I did the other day and it didn't shut down, but again, using the full sensor. Wow, that building on the left is getting fixed up. I'm glad. I love that building. All right, so straight ahead is the rotary. I'll go around the whole thing. And if people don't use their signals, it does nothing for me. Because, okay, here's a guy that's turning. He used his signal. The other folks don't use the signal, then I don't know whether to go or not. All right, so here we are. We're on the rotary. My custom is to go around the entire rotary. One full sweep right around this whole thing. And I'm really doing it up. Let's head up Main Street, grab some more footage. Fingers crossed the camera's still operating. And we have a blinking red light. And they've been doing that lately. And again, Main Street, Norwich, Connecticut. This is what I'm talking about as far as wide. Right here, what can we see? It's wider than linear, but is the trade-off of the warpage that I assume you see right now on the pole to my right, and whatever, maybe the pole above, that's a straight pole. If that's curved, anything towards the edges of the frame, the far right, left, up and down, above and below the frame, would suffer from the curvature. If, again, I mentioned this earlier, if I could have the perfect, 14 millimeter, no distortion lens, I would be thrilled. I don't know that one exists for a small camera that you can put on a car like I'm doing now. I mean, It may. Not that I, off the top of my head, not that I know of, but it may not be possible. I mean, there's, the laws of physics allow for certain lens designs and things like that. I mean, there's no holy grail tiny camera that's, cinematic quality and all this. I mean, there's the Norwich Fire Department right there in front of us. And I'm going to go up West Thames Street momentarily here. This isn't going to be the longest drive in the world. I mean, I've said that before, and it ends up being, an hour. But this is a more testing than anything else. I mean, if I ran across something that was like must gather video, and then I would do it. I mean, I come across some, I don't know what it would be, exceptional, once in a lifetime situation, then yeah, I'd break out all the firepower I have to grab as much info as humanly possible. But if that doesn't happen, and it normally doesn't, then I'm just going to drive around. See, I'm in the 90-degree direct sun, baking the camera situation that I was in the other day. So if it's going to shut off, or if it's not recording video, now would be the time for it to, it throws out a message. It'll say something like overheating, or a little red thermometer icon will pop up. And then like a second later, it's game over and the entire machine shuts down. This light tends to be a little lengthy. There we go. Wow, Marina Towers to my left. You can't see it. It's halfway gone. They're demolishing Marina Towers down in Norwich, and it's half the job is done. I mean, they're being very meticulous because it's in a tricky location. So now I'm on technically Thames Street. This will morph into West Thames Street very quickly. The changeover is coming up very, very soon. Right now, West Thames. So we went from Thames to West Thames. Meineke Car Care Center on the left. They don't call it Meineke Muffler anymore, because people almost never need to replace their mufflers. They're now made out of stainless steel or some kind of steel that doesn't corrode. So, all right, West Thames Street. Let's drive, absorb footage. In the hot summer heat, middle of August. I mean, oof. That's when things really start heating up. That's when things start to get blazing red, molten hot. Speed limit's 35 miles per hour, so you got a decent amount of wind blowing through that camera, cooling it off right now. So my card says 90, which, that's rough on a camera. But my preference for these videos, personally, I mean, this is my personal taste, is linear. Everything's straight. There's no curvature. There's no, fisheye distortion. So that's my preferred. Some of the newer cameras might have, a linear mode that is wider than what I'm dealing with here. I mean, if I could get 16 millimeters, I'd be thrilled. 14, the holy grail. You can buy adapters, but I don't know. Some of those are, it's almost like it's just too over the top. It's too distracting. It's not to me, it's just not a pleasant visual experience for the, for the viewer watching these YouTube videos that I'm making driving around. Again, I'm a very unique case. Okay, we just crossed into Montville for a second, and then we're going to get right back into Norwich right about now. So that was real just quick glance at Montville, and now back into New London Turnpike into the Norwich, Connecticut area. So we shoot more test footage. Like I was talking about earlier, this is a one of a kind. I don't know about one of a kind, but I've seen no one else anywhere on YouTube doing what I'm doing. They may put the camera on the car like I have mounted here. I mean, I'm not saying that's not done. There's not a lot of it. But if you do find it, they're just using the internal battery on the camera, which doesn't get you that long. I mean, maybe, and it will definitely overheat the camera. Let me turn into Malurba's real quick. We'll get a look at Malurba's, this wide, super wide, well, not super wide, wide. I gotta be real careful about my nomenclature. But that's a quick look at the legendary Malurba's farm. Fruits, vegetables, flowers, plants, strawberries, fresh corn. I mean, just the whole shooting match, and it's all dynamite, local, you can't beat it. We're back on New London Turnpike. Let's do some more cruising and push the limits of the heat on this wide view using the full sensor. I like that. But there's hardly anybody, if anybody, anybody using an external battery on one of these cameras usually shoots things like, they might set it up on a tripod overnight to do star trails or long exposure work or whatever. I don't know. It's not something I do. But I do, as I turn off of New London Turnpike. As I turn off, wow, it says 93 at Eastern Bank. Onto West Main Street. Let me drive down Norman Road here very briefly. There's some stores here. I'll just cruise to the parking lot to get a glance at things with that wide lens. But I have yet to run across anybody that's doing the external battery with the car and no battery inside the camera and no battery door. I figured it out. I figured out how to do the cooling. You know, some people know about it, but they're not thrilled about. There's another guy looking at my camera. They're not thrilled about it because you buy one of these cameras and the first thing you do is you take the battery door off and you do some things that might give you pause. I have no problem. I mean, my camera is completely unprotected. I have it's just naked. It's the camera flying through space. I mean, if I had a stone hit it, it would ruin it. It would destroy the camera. If it hit directly, if it was a direct, smacked on the center of the lens or any portion of the lens, it would destroy the camera. It can happen, but the odds of it happening are extremely remote. It's kind of like if you're driving down the road and a bug hits your windshield. But if you said, okay, the bug hit the windshield, so there you go, your lens is just as vulnerable. It's not. If you said, if a bug hits on this one spot on the windshield, you put a little piece of tape or something on the windshield, you say, if a bug hits this spot, then that would be the equivalent of destroying the lens as I drive down West Main Street in Norwich. It's just not going to happen. I mean, the odds are, here comes a police car with full lights and everything, so something's going on back there. Let me turn onto Elizabeth Street. All right, let's see here. (2:37 p.m. right now. Here's another narrow passageway for the lens, the wide setting. And Elizabeth Street continues on. I don't endorse, this is what I do. I do not endorse putting a camera out there with no protection. I used to have a protective case. Then I said, it's not, whenever you put something in front of a lens, it can take away a little bit of its, pristine clarity nature of the lens itself. So people are very squeamish about doing that. St. Peter and Paul Church on my right, the rectory on my right. But people get squeamish, understandably, about having their camera completely exposed to rocks hitting it, bug strikes, whatever. I can't blame them. Who can blame them? Camera will be destroyed. I'm willing to take the chance. I don't care. If my camera got destroyed, you know what I'd do? Buy another one. I put tens and tens of thousands of miles. Someday maybe I'll total it up. Tens of thousands of miles of driving on these. Let me take our right onto Wilmot Avenue. Tens of thousands of miles of driving with this one camera. This is the only camera I've ever, once I briefly, in the beginning I had one, I didn't know what I was doing. And it was okay, it was a good camera, but, I didn't know, it was interior, I didn't know what I was doing, so I have things refined. But once I actually bought a new camera similar to the one I have now, but I had to send it back because it had this problem with flare, that when the sun hits the lens, this lens will flare. All lenses flare, but there is acceptable flare, and then there is, in my opinion, flare that is so distracting it'll drive you completely out of your mind. You just can't watch the video. So I sent it back. I mean, you got 30 days to return the thing. I returned it in one day. Tried it. I'm not going to mention brands because I'm hoping that they fix the flare problem. If they do, then that'll be my next camera. But so I'm on Pitcher Street right now. I'm just cruising around. I'm going to take a left onto, what is this, Perry Avenue. This is probably considered part of the West Side, I would think. But yeah, totally exposed camera. No battery cover, which, by the way, makes it waterproof. So I am making this, taking away the waterproof element of this camera. So if it rains, you're driving around, you can't pull over, your camera could potentially be destroyed, could be ruined. So they don't want to risk that. Who can blame them? Another tough spot to get out of. I mean, it's easy, but sometimes cars go like at a super fast rate of speed on a road that you're not supposed to be doing, 70 on, which makes life a little difficult for guys like me trying to get out of here. All right, so I'm off Perry Avenue. Keith's Appliances to our right. And I'm back on West Thames. I'm going to head back down City to get a view of there's a building. I mentioned that Marina Towers. Let me see if I can get some views of that thing if this camera doesn't shut off halfway through demolition. Totally exposed camera. Lens in jeopardy of getting destroyed. Battery cover off. Lens and camera in jeopardy of getting wet and destroyed. External battery plugged into a USB-C connection. That in and of itself is not a native battery to the camera, so you can run into problems. I haven't ran into any with this, but some people have, basically bricked their camera. I mean, so I haven't run into any of those problems. So I'm willing to make the sacrifice of all those three factors that could easily destroy a camera to get these videos in one take without overheating the camera. The problem with overheating the camera, Norwich Police Department on the right on Thames Street. The problem with overheating the camera is it'll overheat and it could still run, you could still record video, but it'll get blistering hot to the touch, and over time, expansion, contraction from the overheating and all this is detrimental to the long-term life of the camera. Okay, I'm going to turn right. We're going to get a quick look at that building right there, to the right, Marina Towers. If I can pull in here, maybe I can get different views of this thing. It's halfway gone. So let me pull in and see if I can point this thing. Wow, maybe it's more than halfway gone. These guys, a couple more days, that building's history. There's a lot of cars down here. Something must be going on. There must be some kind of an activity, or there is a restaurant down here that's very popular. Maybe people are just boat owners. You know, they're out there. Well, we got kind of a tree blocking our view, but let me see if I can go in this other parking lot. This is kind of a random situation where I would like to grab this video, but if I was going to do it right, I would come down here and, you know, get on the ground and walk around, although I'm not thrilled about breathing a lot of that. It's over that little building we see in front. Beyond that is the half-demolished Marina Towers. So as I exit here, it should be on the left. Let me swing over. Okay, here we can get a view of it. Nobody coming either way. All right, let me plant this thing right on this. Right there. Wow, we can see the inside. I mean, it's a wide view. I hope it isn't too far in the distance. Let me swing over a little bit more. Nobody coming. I got to be careful. All right, there's Marina Tower, half demolished. That's an old building. That goes way back. Let me work my way out of here. I got a bunch of cars passing from left to right. You'll see them directly in front of you. So how's that look with a wide lens? I want to get out of here in case that building collapses. I'm not kidding. You watch enough Instagram or YouTube videos that I was watching one today where there was a grain silo, a wooden one, and a guy, you know, took a couple of whacks at it with a hatchet, and the whole thing collapsed. There was like 10 people standing there. Let me roll through Howard T. Brown Memorial Park very briefly here with this wide view. People in the shade, I don't blame them. It's 90 degrees. There's the gazebo to the right. Now, if I get down here and turn around, sometimes you can turn around easy, sometimes it's difficult. Okay, today's not bad. We'll get a quick look at the marina. And I'm going to start heading back home and see if I actually recorded video. I hope I did. The person fishing right in front of us. And you can see the water. The marina. Three rivers meeting at the river, at the marina, or the, let's see now. Let me take a look to my left here for a second. I gotta keep my eyes open. There's people walking around here. Yeah, there's one more rock the docks left, Marina. They're a Norwich, iconic Norwich band. I gotta be careful. They're an iconic Norwich band, and I think it's this Wednesday this week. Marina's going to be down here, so that'll be well worth seeing. And the final performance of the year for the Rock the Dock series. My camera LCD is still on. Doesn't mean it's recording video. I hope it is. And I'm going to, again, work my way back home. I will probably go up. And let me do something different. Go through the city. Yeah, I'll figure it out. And break things up a little bit here. So, all right. Entering the city from this angle with this wide setup on this test drive. Warregan Hotel in front of us. Abe Lincoln was in that building. Second time today I'm going to hit the rotary, but I'm not going to do a full 360 like I usually do. I am going to just halfway around it. There's a mural on the side of that building. The name of that building right there is the Sunlight Building. It's kind of a cool name. Franklin Street. That's where I am right now. Come to a complete stop and forge ahead with my exposed to the elements camera with no battery inside it and no battery door, with wind basically whooshing through the camera at a decent rate of speed, cooling it down so in theory it doesn't overheat. Is that the case? Or will I get home and find this camera recorded 5 minutes of video, and I've been talking for probably an hour into a microphone, and I'll never be able to use the recording. That would be unfortunate. All right, this is real narrow right here, these cars. So how's that wide? That's a good spot to check it out. Grove Street, that's where we are now, but I'm getting out of here. I'm going to jump onto, if I can. All right, we've made it. I'm off of Grove onto Broad Street. Spalding Street to my left. I assume it has something, relationship to Spalding Pond. Probably a prominent Norwich figure back in the early days. There used to be Broad Street School right in front of us. Now I believe it's either condominiums or apartments, but it's a beautiful building. Absolutely incredible. You take a right onto McKinley Avenue. So I think there's been a lot of natural gas pipeline work done in this area lately. I could be wrong on that, but that's my hypothesis on this recent road work. And off McKinley Avenue, temporarily onto Rockwell Street. Let me go straight. Technically, I'm the one to go because I got here first. I mean, if you want to be fair, that's if you want to be fair, I should go first. If you don't want to be fair, then all bets are off. Down the end of Rockwell, take a right onto Broadway. Maybe I'll take a brief turn and point this thing at NFA, Slater Memorial Museum, Park Congregational Church is to our right. They got a new roof, looks incredible. That had to be a big money project because that's a huge slate roof. No turn on red. All right, I got to plant myself here. This. Okay, when I turn right there, you get Slater. Let me see if I can quickly drive through NFA, just like a real quick. They got security sometimes will come out. Trust me, you got a camera mounted on your car, and you're on, school property, and security happens to be sitting there and looks at the camera. It's like, all right, something's not right. hopefully we can get some of these buildings in. And Slater has a new roof. That was put in last year. I'm going to get half a speed bump here. I can only avoid half of it. So right in front of us, Slater Memorial Museum, one of my favorite buildings. I've mentioned it before. Possibly my favorite in Norwich, but I would have to sit down and think about that for a while because I have other ones that I really love, other buildings in this town. All right. Look both ways before crossing. Wow, the light's still green. Love it. Chelsea Parade on my right. Wide lens. Taking in as much footage as humanly possible. Red light. I hope this guy crosses. The gentleman on my left. It'd be good to have somebody walk in front of the camera just for effect. But maybe not. He's just going to stand there, so he's probably not going to cross. Unless he's waiting for the actual crosswalk signal. If that's the case, that's admirable. Good. I do that. I mean, people should definitely do it. Respect. Total respect. Excellent. That's the way it's supposed to be done, folks. You press the walk button, you wait, and when that thing turns, the symbol of the green person walking, that's when you walk. So that guy back there just now offering a textbook example of how it's done. I'm on Sachem Street right now. I'm heading back to the starting point of this video. 91 degrees. It's ridiculously hot out here. Let's get down the end of Sachem. I'm going to make a left. Lafayette if I went right. Sherman Street right now, so we'll go over the Sherman Street Bridge again. I have tons of video on the old bridge, the construction of the new one, multiple videos if you're actually interested in that as we drive over the Annick River. Then I got you covered. All right, we'll drive up a little bit of Asylum Street here as we head back to, the Norwich town section. I mean, I got a lot of video. For a test video, I think I went above and beyond here. There's a lot of different examples of wide roads, narrow roads. I mean, Lake Street was threading the needle down there. And we're going to get off Asylum. We're going to jump back on the New London Turnpike. $93 degrees. I mean, it's good gravy. That's hot. And we're going to head back. If this thing recorded, I'll have a lot to look over. And if anybody has any opinions on it, just, drop me a line. Let me know what you think. I've had a lot of testing lately on YouTube. Video, different angles, different locations of the camera on the car, pointing in different directions, the width of the lens. I mean, just you know, I'm running the gamut as far as the testing phase has been developing over these past week and a half, I would say. A couple of weeks, maybe. Norwich Town Green to my right, First Congregational Church directly in front of us with wide, so that should have been able to capture the entire building. I think. Not going to know till I see it. So we're on West Town, and we're going to cruise on down to the starting point here, which, you know what, I actually started this thing in Shell gas station. So when I drive by a Shell gas station, that's when this thing's going to come to a conclusion. That's when we're going to just close up shop and shut down. Pull the plug on the operation. All right, 3 p.m. right on the money. What does that say? 91 degrees on the bank. And my car says 91, so we have matching results on our thermometers, bank and the car. So I'm going to have to assume that's accurate. Still on West Town Street. So I'm going to be approaching Shell here momentarily. Unless I get a light. I could get a red light here. I'm not going to actually pull into Shell. I'm just going to drive right by it. And I'll go home and fire things up with my fingers crossed, hoping that this thing's actually still recording video. I don't know if it is, to be perfectly honest. Hope so, but I don't know. All right, Shell to our left. This is about the point that I started, so thanks for coming along for the ride, everybody.